So today I want to share a couple stories about really small things that made a big difference in my life, and I call them nudges. Hello, Dale Majors here, and welcome to another video. If you're looking to learn the skill sets and mindsets and build the tools that you need to reach the next level in your life, then you're going to want to watch the channel. So like, subscribe, share with your friends, and thank you for being here. Today, I want to share a few stories about little things that have made a really big difference in my life. And there's actually 3 of them, and then I want to run through a few tips, okay? So first story is when I was in high school, I built a new bike. I built a new bicycle, and through that process, I learned that I could buy bike parts on the internet. I also learned how much they cost and that they were pretty pricey. So eventually I stumbled into a store where people were buying and reselling bike parts. So I saw somebody doing this, and it was just that small little, reminder, or that small little nudge, I call it, of seeing somebody else and thinking, oh, I could maybe do that too. So there were other people around me that were doing this. I could do that too. So I started buying and selling bike parts, and that actually grew to be, it took 15 years, but it was eventually a $10 million a year business. During the summer, we'd sell $1 million a month. So it was a very small thing that turned into a bigger thing. All right, the second experience I want to share is about journal writing. So I've always wanted to be a journal writer. My mom growing up, she was always a good example of writing in her journal, and she found a lot of fulfillment through that. I've read a lot of biographies where you wonder, you're like, wow, how do they know all of this about that person? A lot of these people kept good journals. And I thought, I've just always admired that. And I've always felt inside that I should be a better journal writer. So I've made so many goals to journal better, and I've just failed on them, right? But 5 years ago, I went on this bike trip. I came home and I was like resolved to be better. And I was like mostly there, and I wrote a journal entry, and I still failed. It went 3 weeks and I didn't write another journal entry. But my wife went to a church class, and in the church class, a lady shared a story about how she had written in her journal for 10 years in a row. She called it day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. And she'd been doing it for 10 years. Her mom had been doing it for like 25 or something, or her aunt. It's crazy. So that was really motivating. There was this idea and model of like, hey, I can write, I can go on a journal streak. That'll be awesome. I can do that. So it was that small little nudge that my wife, she's a little more disciplined than me apparently. That's all she needed, and she's been writing in her journal ever since. We're just a bit over 5 years, and me too. I caught on, and I've been writing in my journal for 1,839 days. So it was just a little thing, though. I wanted to, but I put myself around, good people, and they said, hey, I'm doing this, and I thought, wow, maybe I should do that too, and it made the difference. I've also wanted to study French. I've wanted to learn to speak French. I can speak English all right. I can speak Portuguese really well, and because I lived there for 2 years as a missionary, and I've wanted to learn French. We've traveled a lot in France, and it was always a desire, but I didn't do anything about it. I never did anything about it in a major way. So I went to a wedding reception once in Atlanta, and my friend Doug mentioned, he said, Dale, I started doing this app Duolingo, and it's pretty awesome. You should check it out. You can run a streak. And he's like, I've done it for like 300 days. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. I'm like so ready for this. I'm doing it. At that time, I told him, I said, look, don't ever lose your streak, because if you do, you'll never catch up. Which turns out to not be true. But at one point I had a 500-day streak, and then I lost the connection. But essentially, I've practiced French for 5 minutes a day for the last 4.5 years or so, and it's been awesome. So to summarize it, all of those stories show I was ready. I'd been buying and researching bike parts. I was ready for the next step, but then I was introduced to an idea. I call that a nudge. I'd always wanted to write in my journal. I was introduced to a new way to do it, and then that was a nudge. I'd always wanted to study French. I was introduced with a new way to do it by good friends. That was a nudge. So nudges can help us push over the edge. And I want to go in and talk about a few other points that can prepare us to be nudged. All right, in all of those instances, I already had a desire. I already wanted to do a certain thing. So when the nudge came, I was able to act on it. And heck, today I'm in day 6 of my fast. I've been fasting and going without food for 6 days. I made a bunch of videos yesterday, making some videos today. Tired, but I'm like mentally sharp now. I started this fast because my brother sent me a text message on Saturday that said, Dale, or on Friday night, Dale, do you want to do a 7-day fast? And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm gonna find that. Wow, we texted a lot. All right, so my brother says, and I'll put a picture of this up. I'm watching The Science of Fasting. Want to do a 7-dayer? And man, I'm like, I've done a 3-day fast, a 2-day fast, a 3-day fast. They were both kind of lousy. But I was like, ugh, yeah, definitely. That was it, that was after dinner on Friday. And I said, yeah, I'd rather go 5. He said, I'm good with that, whatever. Family meal tomorrow after that. Are you serious? Yes, I'm going to do it. So anyways, we fasted. He fasted for like 2.5 days, and I kind of recommended that he stop because it was his first one. And so I fasted for 6 days. I'm going 7 days. And that was because of a nudge. I was all ready to go. I've wanted to do a 7-day fast for a while. I was ready, and I got nudged. So you really need to put yourself in situations and around people that are going to give you that extra nudge. But the important thing, and let me get to this point then, I guess, the important thing is that you cultivate the desire. If you don't have the desire, the nudge won't work, right? There's so many sayings, right? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. It has to do with that. Many are called, but few are chosen, right? We have to have the desire, and there are several ways to kind of cultivate that desire. But really, dreaming about your ideal outcome is what you got to do. So when a nudge comes, you're going to heed the call. All right, so the last point is put yourself in situations where you can get a nudge, where you can be nudged. And I've got 2 recommendations for how to do that. First off, with a 1, it is read books. Read books about people that you admire. I've read a lot of biographies, autobiographies. Read books about people that have done great and that you feel are successful with your definition of success. And that will help you aspire to be more like them and to be more successful. So when an opportunity comes along that will help you be better, that's going to be a nudge for you. If you don't have the desire in the first place, a lot of these things that could be nudges will not be nudges. So the second point on how to put yourself in those types of situations is put yourself in good, strong social groups. It's been said that, and I believe Jim Rohn said that you become the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And there's so many other quotes that kind of have to do with that. But you become the average of who you spend the most time with. And if that's the case, then if you want to be better, then you want to hang out with people that are your definition of better. If you're hanging out with people that are your definition of worse, and you're the most proactive, productive, best person in your friend group, you probably need to introduce some more successful people into your friend group. And you can identify and make your own definition of success. It's not money or friends or money or job or whatever. It can be whatever, right? If you want to be a better dad, hang out with a lot of better dads. So at the end of the day, you are one nudge away from making a big change. And I want you to watch out for those nudges. And when you get them and you're uncertain and you're afraid and you might not want to take the leap, just take it anyway, right? So there you go. That's the message from Venture Anyway today. We're glad to have you on the channel, and go get your nudge. If you like the video, please like, share with your friends, subscribe to the channel. We share videos 5 days a week that help you create more desire for that nudge, and maybe some of these videos will be the nudge that you need to take the next step. So I'll see you on my next video.